Empty Your Mind, a powerful motivational story. Marco was a 24-year-old young man living in a quiet village surrounded by tall mountains, yet his heart was anything but quiet. His mind was constantly overflowing with thoughts, worries about what might happen tomorrow, and regrets about what had already passed. From sunrise to sunset, his head felt like a spinning wheel that never stopped turning. No matter how hard he tried, he couldn't control the flood of thoughts rushing through his mind. Gradually, this restless thinking drained all his energy. He couldn't sleep well. He couldn't focus. Even the simple act of smiling felt foreign to him. He often wondered why he couldn't feel peace like everyone else around him. Deep down, he knew he needed help. Someone who could guide him out of this mental storm. One day, Marco heard about a distant village hidden deep in the hills. People whispered stories about a wise old man living there, a man who had once been a well-known psychologist in the city. He had spent his life helping others heal, teaching them how to quiet their minds and rediscover inner peace. Now, in his old age, he had left the noise of the city behind to live close to nature, offering guidance only to those who truly sought it. Hearing this, something awakened inside Marco. Perhaps this old man could help him. Perhaps someone out there held the answer he had been searching for. Without hesitation, Marco packed his things and began a long and exhausting journey through hills, forests, and narrow paths. Days later, he arrived at the quiet hill village. There, surrounded by green vines and warm sunlight, he saw a small wooden house. On the porch sat the old man, peaceful as a still lake, his eyes closed as if listening to the wind. Standing before the wise old man, Marco nervously explained his struggle, his endless thoughts, his sleepless nights, his desire for peace. The old man listened quietly, then opened his eyes with a calm, gentle smile. "So you seek peace?" he said softly. "Then come with me. I have a small task for you." He led Marco to a small yard behind the house. Then, without saying a word, he picked up a glass and filled it with water, so full that the surface trembled at the edge. Not a single drop more could fit. He handed the glass to Marco and said, "Walk to the edge of the village and return. But remember, do not spill even one drop." Though confused, Marco agreed. Holding the fragile glass, he stepped onto the narrow village path. People passed by, children shouted, dogs barked, shopkeepers called out. But Marco didn't look at anything. Every step was slow, careful, deliberate. His entire focus rested on the glass in his hands. At last, he returned, relieved that the water was still perfectly full. "Grandfather, I did it!" he said proudly. And the old man simply smiled, as if knowing something Marco had yet to realize. The old man nodded kindly and asked, "Tell me, Marco, did you see the children playing beside the road? Did you hear the barking dogs?" Marco blinked in surprise. "No, I didn't notice anything. I was only focusing on the water." The old man's smile deepened. "Exactly. That is the secret you never knew you already had. When your mind is fully in the present moment, there is no space left for fear, for confusion, or for unnecessary thoughts. While you focused on the glass, your mind became completely silent. In that moment, you were not sad about the past. You were not worried about the future." Marco felt something shift within him. It was as if a heavy curtain had been lifted, revealing something he had always carried but never understood. Peace did not come from running away or searching outside himself. It came from learning to stay in the present moment. He bowed his head respectfully. "Grandfather, now I understand. If I want to calm my mind, I must stay with what is happening right now. That is where real peace lives." As the sun slowly sank behind the hills, casting warm golden light across the village, Marco began walking home. Birds flew gracefully toward their nests, and the air grew calm. He felt different, lighter, clearer, more alive than he had in years. The storms that once controlled him no longer held the same power. The key to peace was not to fight his thoughts, but to bring his mind gently back to the present. The world around him hadn't changed, but he had. His heart felt open, steady, and free. For the first time in a long while, Marco smiled, naturally, effortlessly. He knew this was only the beginning of his journey, but now he walked forward with confidence and calmness. Peace is not found in the mountains or in other people. Peace begins within, in the present moment. Nếu bạn muốn, mình có thể viết phiên bản ngắn hơn 60 9 đi giây cho video TikTok YouTube. Vẫn giữ tinh thần câu chuyện. rất phù hợp kể chuyện hoặc lồng nhạc nền. Bạn có muốn mình làm luôn không?